I'm Tony. He's Mike, and we are here to fulfill a promise on Ty West's X, which just came out this year and is currently available for rent on several streaming services.
I think I rented it on Prime.
Yeah, and
for like $5.99.
So, and it's a film about a group of young people who decide they're going to make an attempt to get famous by making a porno, and they rent out a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and they go there to shoot the porn, and it's discovered by the old couple that watches or that owns the property that they are in fact making a porn, and then it gets real brutal and bloody really fast.
Yes.
What? Are you all right?
No.
Shenanigans ensue. Yeah, big
that-
time. What I like the most about this movie is it's got like it's got the sex that you expected from an 80s slasher. It's got all the violence that you expect from an 80s slasher. But yet it takes those tropes and kind of twists them a little bit.
Yeah.
Because while you get to see some great sex scenes, some great boobies, you get to see some very uncomfortable sex and some uncomfortable boobies. You get to see some stuff you really don't particularly care to see in it. So I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
It was shot extremely well.
Yes.
There's legit character development. You actually get a sense of every
Yes.
single one of these characters. Some are developed a little bit better than others, but on a whole, each one of them gets enough to where when stuff happens to them, you feel something for them.
The
the setups are great. The payoffs are great.
The characters all feel genuine and
Yes.
lived in and fully realized, and even if it doesn't, even if it's not discussed on screen, you get the feeling that Ty West like literally sat down and wrote entire biographies about all these people and gave them to the actors that are portraying them.
Yes.
That's
a great way to say that. Yeah. He probably did write a whole treatment on these people because they feel, like you said, lived
genuine.
in.
This is not a one-trick movie by any stretch. It was marketed as a slasher film, and it was almost all about the titillating. Oh, they're making a porno, and look at how seedy. And I mean, even the title of the film is X.
Farmer's daughter, take one. I need to be famous, Wayne. All the best people are.
There ain't nobody else out there like you. You know why?
Why?
'Cause you got that X factor.
But Ty West, who the movie that Mike and I were first introduced him with was The Innkeepers, and that's a slow burn horror film as well. It's a great old school horror story. It's a ghost story.
Yes.
And it is all about the two young people that work at this inn that just happens to be haunted, that's closing down on its final weekend. That one is not as polished as this. Ty West has most definitely learned a lot of lessons while making films, but The Innkeepers is a really solid, fun watch, and I highly recommend that one if you really want to get a taste for Ty West. But then X takes that to the next logical level, and he's got a lot of interesting characters, and he's got a lot of interesting things to say about sex and sexuality and violence and killing, and this film is equal parts fascinating and completely grotesque.
Yes.
Yes. and I love that about this film. I genuinely do, because really the first death doesn't happen for like the first 40 minutes. There's a lot of character,
but a lot of character.
You get to see one of the porn scenes being shot, and you get to see the difference between them acting and then them actually having sex as a couple, not in character. You get to see a lot of the thought process, but you also get to see their drive for all of this, because you have the one girl who's the sound person on the film, and she's a prude, and she's very kind of judgy about it, and then they explain their motivations. And yes, they're all attempting to become stars in the porn industry, but they're not strung out on drugs, and they're not criminals, and they're not this. They're just looking for attention and fame.
Yeah.
And
you actually said this when we talked about this briefly before film, like how in Boogie Nights, like porn is like their last.
It's all they have.
It's like it's their last hope. It's their only hope of doing anything.
Yeah.
Where for these guys, like no, this is just more like a stepping stone. This is what we're going to use as a vehicle to kind of break in and do what we want to do. not like this is all we're going to do, this is all we're ever going to be.
And back then, in 1979, when this film is set, that was actually something that happened quite a bit. There was a lot of actual porn actors that went on into regular film roles. I'm sure everybody is going to recognize... I'm completely drawing a blank right now.
Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords, thank you. Tracy Lords is the name that everybody remembers for that. A lot of the girls whose boobies you saw in a lot of those 80s slasher flicks, turns out that they were also porn actresses, and they worked under different names under them. Amber Heard actually was in a couple of slasher films back then, and I'm sorry, not Amber Heard, Amber Lynn. It's a whole different thing right there. Amber Lynn actually did several, very famous for porn and is well known for that.
Well, even before Rocky was filmed, Sylvester Stallone did a porno. So there's a big-time A-list actor that started in porn.
Yeah, so there you go. So
you gotta pay the bills, baby.
It was a very different world then, and also the baggage of having been a porn actor had not really been established. The 80s kind of cemented that and made it a thing, but back then, in front of a camera was in front of a camera. Either you could or you couldn't. And that's where...
Deep Throat back in the day was considered like art. Mm-hmm. It wasn't considered like, hardcore porn. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like... It didn't have that stigma about it until later, like when you had televangelism and things like that, people like that coming out and like really beating down on the industry.
Well, to be honest, at that time it was art because it was shot on film. It did require you to have a shooting schedule and a budget and storyboards and all this. You couldn't just like go in and, knock out a porn. Then the video camera, VHS, came out, and that cheapened the production of porn for the most part. And now we're in the digital age where for a $99 webcam, you can start earning, tips on your own personal Pornhub channel. So
at least our fans only right here.
Yeah,
or only fans.
But yeah, so the industry has changed quite a bit, and it was steered by economics more than anything else. But at this particular time, their goals and their dreams are highly possible and doable, and had been done. The other thing that I find fascinating about this is the old lady who is killing them.
And the old man.
Her motivation is sexual, and I find that extremely genuine and extremely disturbing because no one wants to think about the fact that old people want to but you know what? They're human too. Just because their shit don't work no more or their heart will explode if they get going too good doesn't mean that they don't want it any less than you or I or the average 14-year-old who's on Pornhub right now. It's part of the human condition, and I love the fact that was the motivation for this. Ty West didn't pull any punches. They're not the holy rollers that are like, oh, we got to kill these evil people that are they're putting sex on film. We must stop them. No, she sees this. She gets turned on by it. Her husband cannot satisfy her needs. She goes into a homicidal rage. It's weird. It feels honest. It feels genuine. And the old lady's performance is creepy as shit.
Well, the old lady is actually the one guy's girlfriend. She plays both characters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The main star, the girl with the freckles. I forgot what the name of her character is.
I had no.
But she plays both.
So at the end.
So there's actually going to be a prequel done for this, where she actually plays the old lady.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit, I'm intrigued. I find it fascinating that she kills herself.
Her name right here, I think it's Mia Goth.
So
is her character, or the actress.
So, but this fired on all cylinders for me. This is not just a recommend. This is a huge recommend for me
too. Yep.
I can't think of a horror film I've seen recently that was better than this. So
no, not that not only has great kills, but also great acting, great character development. Everything. Wolf of Snow Hollow comes close.
Yeah,
it's a solid one. The Wretched, while good, not like this. No, this is damn near a flawless horror movie.
I completely agree with that. I really genuinely do. This is the first 9.5, possibly 10 horror film that I've seen in a very long time. And this is A24, and I've been singing their praises for a very, very long time. This right here is why I love A24, because there's no way any other studio could have got away with putting a film like this out, even with just the title.
Yeah.
So
thank you, A24. Thank you, Ty West. Thank you, all the actors. Thank you, everybody that was involved in this film. You did an outstanding job.
Yeah. Wholly recommend. When has this dropped on Blu-ray yet, or is this coming out on Blu-ray soon?
It should come out soon. I mean, if you can already rent it on Amazon, I'm sure.
Normally, it's like 45 days from the time that you can rent it to the time that you can buy it. So
I don't know.
Just depends on the film. Anyway, but kudos, great job. I loved it.
Yep.
He loved it.
I loved it.
So
solid recommend.
I can't think of any higher praise for a film than that. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. And we talked about how rich and deeply developed the characters are. But the other thing that I really kind of dug about this movie, there's the sequence in the middle of it where the porn actor, I can't remember the characters' names, the African-American guy, he starts playing the guitar, and then the porn actress, the blonde, she starts doing this really wonderful rendition of Stevie Nicks' Fleetwood Mac song. And they actually do the entire performance of the song. They don't like fade it out or cut it off or go to a different scene. And that's like one of those really great subtle details that Ty West included in this, and that he wanted to let you know that unlike Boogie Nights or a lot of other films about pornography and the porn industry, this isn't all that these people are. They do adult entertainment, but they're people just like everybody else. They don't define them by their job, is really what it all kind of boiled down to. And I appreciated that attention to detail, and for Ty West to take the time and have the balls to put a scene like that before launching into the bloodbath that the film became. It humanized the characters in a way that a lot of other movies never would have bothered to have done. And this film avoids every one of those stupid horror film tropes. You don't have the bright one and the dumb one and the prude and the slut. And none of that. Just throw all that shit out. Go in with no preconceived notions, and you'll appreciate this.
You know, the funny thing is they do set up in the beginning kind of like that.
They do.
The characters do come off tropey, but they evolve as the film evolves.
And the other thing is that because of the way that this film is shot, it reminds me a lot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And even the van that they're driving in looks an awful lot like the van that the characters are in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it plays amazingly well as homage. It plays amazingly well as something new and original and different. This works on so many different levels. And this is not just a project that he threw together and just thought, well, this will put asses in seats. There was some serious thought and construction and craft that was put into this film.
I think actually the title and the way it was marketed actually did the film more of a detriment than it did help it out.
I'm gonna say that
because at first I was like, oh, okay, because I heard about it, I heard some good reviews, but it's like, again, most people what they talk about is like, oh yeah, there's some sex and there's some stuff and there's some good kills. So I while taken as a package as a whole, it's solid. I can see why they did what they did, but at the same time, don't let the title of it and don't let
the subject matter
you take you away from watching this movie.
But don't watch it with your children.
No, actually, do not watch it with your children. No, at all.
that's. Can anything else?
Watch it.
Yeah,
rent it tonight. Watch it. If it's on Blu-ray, buy it.
He said that, not me.
Yeah.
I say that shit all the time. Mike's never said buy a movie ever. So that's it. We will catch you guys next time. Stay tuned.